Okay, so 6 week update. I've been riding my bike back there for about 6 weeks. Try to ride at least 5 times a week. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Sometimes I ride 6 days, sometimes I ride 7. Some days I can only ride 3. Obviously it depends on work and my schedule and if I'm traveling and stuff like that. This entire time I've been riding it, I've had a lot of people ask me, yeah, that's great, but are you losing any weight? And I kept telling them, I don't know. I don't know if I am or not, but I know I feel better. And that's 100%. That's kind of been my motivating driving force throughout all of it, is even if I'm not losing weight, I feel better. Had to leave Florida last Wednesday. Had to be back up in here in Long Island, New York on Monday. And on my way, I was able to stop by the house, spend a couple days at home. When I got home, I stepped on my scale at home. And it turns out I'm down 11 pounds. So I had lost 11 pounds in 5 weeks. That's 2.2 pounds a week, which is great. Anybody you talk to will tell you that's a good, sustainable rate to lose weight. So that's pretty exciting. Puts me down a total of 30 pounds since last March. So real exciting. Things that I've been able to notice so far. I've noticed some of my clothes that I was wearing before are actually fitting a little better. Some of them, they were real tight on the belly area. That's getting better. My friends that I was able to stop by and see at home this weekend, they told me they could tell when I got back up here. The general foreman that I'm working with up here in Long Island hadn't seen me in 2 or 3 months. He could tell, even when I don't feel like I can tell sometimes. Tell you the truth, a lot of times I feel like I can tell. I'll look in the mirror and be like, yeah, man, I'm losing weight. And then I'll get around my wife that's 110 pounds and I'm like, man, I am not losing any weight at all. But it turns out I am, So what I would take from all this so far is that for the longest time I did nothing, because every time I suggested, man, I'm going to try this or I want to try that, I got a lot of people telling me, no, you don't want to do that. You want to do this. Or you don't want to do it that way because that doesn't work. You should do this. And then I had a lot of people tell me, well, you should try the caveman diet or you should try the keto diet. Mostly, I have a lot of friends and a lot of people I know that, well, you should, I went to the doctor and I got this Ozempic shot or this Mounjaro shot or this trizepatide shot. I'm not knocking that, but I needed to prove to myself that I needed it before I would go to the doctor and get some kind of medication to take to lose weight. And the biggest thing I started to notice when I started looking into it and I started talking to people is all of them would say, yeah, man, I don't have any appetite at all. I very rarely ever even feel like eating. I eat a little bit and then I'm full and I don't feel like eating anymore. So then it kind of started to dawn on me, well, maybe it's not the shot is why you're losing weight. Maybe the shot just making you not hungry so that you're not eating so much is helping you lose weight. So when I started riding the bike, I started being even more conscious about what I eat and what I intake than I had been, even though changing my diet and getting away from fast food and not drinking so many sodas was how I lost the first 20 pounds. After I lost the first 20 pounds, I really couldn't lose anymore. So when I started riding the bike, I started riding the bike every day. And then I started being even a little more conscious about what I'm eating and actually very loosely counting calories, trying to, just in my head, keep myself below 2,000 calories a day, plus adding in 30, 40 minutes, sometimes even an hour of riding a bike every day. And it's worked. I've lost about 11 pounds so far. I'm going to keep after it. I'm going to keep going. My goal weight is to be 215 by the end of March. Maybe I'll hit it. Maybe I won't. But I know that if I don't, it won't be because I'm not making any effort. So there is no part of me who ever sits there and goes, you know what I would really like right now? I would really like a salad. I'm not that guy. I'm not that person. Um, I still want to be happy, and I don't know that I can be happy if I never eat something that I enjoy. So that's the biggest struggle, is finding things. I don't want to call them healthy, but they're not so detrimental to my health that I enjoy eating. I try to be carb conscious. One thing when you do an exercise like this, some carbs are your friend. You want to have some carbs, but not so many that store all that excess body fat. The best thing I ever did throughout all this was I stopped listening to everybody that was giving me advice. I stopped listening to my gym rat friends. I stopped listening to everybody that, swore they knew the path and knew exactly what I needed. And I just set out to try to find something that worked for me. So what works for me may not work for you. I can't tell you 100% what's going to make you lose weight. I can't tell you 100% what's going to make you healthier. I can't tell you 100% what's going to make you feel better. But I can tell you 100% what will not. And doing nothing 100% won't help. So what I've taken from all this is just get out and do something. Find what works for you. You may have to experiment with it a little bit. You may have to figure different foods out and stuff like that. And the big struggle for me being on the road is it's really hard to meal prep. So it's not really an option. I mean, last Tuesday they told me I was going to be in Florida till March. The following day, Wednesday at 2:00, they told me to pack up and leave that night. I had just gone to the grocery store, so trying to pack, 2 weeks worth of groceries to get you down, back up the road, that makes it difficult, especially if you've got, meals prepped for the next week. Where are you going to put that? How are you going to keep it cool? So laugh if you want. I was doing pretty well going to Wawa. I would get a breakfast burrito in the morning, just scrambled egg, sausage, and cheese. And then I would get a roasted chicken wrap at lunch, just roasted chicken, pickles, and cheese in a wrap. And then in the afternoons, I would go home. I would do one of these protein shakes, go ride my bike, come back, eat some sort of high protein dinner, whether it was like a small steak or a burger or something like that. And it's worked out pretty good for me. If you know me, if you've been around me, you've probably heard me say it before. A lot of what we say at my house all the time is, just because it's not the best day, it's still the day we have. And even today, it's 36 degrees up here in Long Island. I got a mile from the parking lot over at Cap Tree State Park, and it started snowing and raining. We had 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds with 35-mile-per-hour gusts, which made it absolutely miserable to try to ride in. But I pushed through, and even though I didn't get 10, 12 miles like I would have liked to, I got 4 miles in. It took me about 35 minutes because with the wind blowing at me as hard as it was, I was all the way down in first gear doing everything I could, fighting for my life to just keep the bike standing upright. But I got it in. I made something happen. So if you want to lose weight, you have to definitely have to start paying attention to what you eat a little bit. It does not have to be just a straight, strict, miserable diet. A lot of it is just eat what, you can eat, kind of eat what you want. Just try not to eat so much of it. And the other thing is, no matter what you do, just do something. Do something, move around, do something, whether it's riding a bike, going for a walk, something. Um, there's guys I watch on YouTube that are real serious, into real serious cyclists, and I've watched some of them, and they've been extremely helpful. I mean, I may watch a 30-minute video, and I may only take one thing from it, but I take something. And at that point, I just do what I can to make it work for me, and I adapt the information that I get from other people, and I make it work for me. I'm sure there's a better way. I'm sure that, everybody's got advice and everybody's got a plan and everybody's got something. But if you listen to people and you let them discourage you, then it's never going to happen. So just get out there and do something. Even if it's not perfect, it's better than nothing.